All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged and humbled to have many of you join us this afternoon. From Yaga, we have the almighty Cynthia and my very good friend from NDI, yeah, Francis from NDI. I'm so sorry, I forgot your name. Sometimes it's just your face that I remember. Uh, and then Esther from DAI. And your name again? Safia from Yaga Africa. And of course, all our media partners. One of them that I must introduce is Ijoma. Ijoma. That is hiding and thinking that the pillar will cover her. The one striking things between me and Ijoma is that she's quarter to me. Okay. Okay, with that said, this is our mid-election presentation in terms of our statement following the reviews, the reports that we got from the field. Most of them we're still tracking. We put together a very summarized report. And of course, this is the second in the series. After this, we will do a post-election, but that will happen hopefully. INEC would have released their results. I'm going to try, because of my short-sightedness, in reading from the statement, but most of them I would ad-lib. I think my colleague Lynn has the printed statement, and those of you who want us to transmit electronically, we will. So today is Saturday, the 21st day of September 2024. Here in Benin City, we present to you today our mid-election report. Introduction. Before the commencement of the Edo State governorship election, in line with our mandate to promote inclusivity in Nigeria, the electoral process in particular, South Africa deployed 20 stationary citizens, observers, and 5 roving media observers to select polling units across Edo State for 2024 governorship election. The observers were deployed to polling units with registered voters with disability to observe and report voting experience and the provision of assistive tools as mandated by the Electoral Act. You will recall that the Electoral Act, Section 54, subsection 1 and 2, gave impetus to this practice. So it is our legal right for election to be inclusive. The inclusion of persons with disability in the electoral process, a critical aspect of achieving true democratic participation. I did say about Section 54, subsection 1 and 2. It explicitly requires the Independent National Commission, INEC, to provide assistive tools such as Braille guide for the blind, magnifying glasses for persons with albinism, and written instruction from EC 30E PWD for the deaf to ensure their effective participation in the electoral process. INEC is also required to prioritize voting for persons with disability to enhance the experience of polling stations. Key observations. Of course, we saw the impact of natural events, which is the weather. We recognize that the impact of the weather on voter turnout. A heavy downpour in the early hours of the day and its persistence throughout the morning significantly affected voters turnout at many polling units. This was particularly noticeable amongst voters with disability. Of course, you're dealing with the issue of disability as well as being drenched in the rain. So many of them probably stayed away. Of course, it will hamper movement to polling units, which were impeded by the poor weather condition. The rain also caused delay in the commencement of accreditation and voting in general polling unit as confirmed by INEC ad hoc staff, the ad hoc staff we talked to. These delay further discourage the turnout of vulnerable groups, including persons with disability, who often face additional logistical challenges in accessing polling stations. 2. Provision of assistive material or resources. Our observation noted with concern that although the written instruction for the deaf from EC 30E were deployed across all observed polling units, other critical assistive tools such as Braille, guide for the blind, and magnifying glasses for persons with albinism were absent in the location, including those with registered voters requiring such aid. For instance, at Olua Primary School, Uselu 125 PU 008, a blind voter could not cast his vote independently due to the absence of a Braille guide, with polling officials confirming that they were not provided at all. Priority voting for persons with disability. On a positive note, it is observed that INEC ad hoc staff had been briefed on the priority voting rights of persons with disability, which were generally accorded. Some of them were accorded with priority voting access at the polling unit. Now, let me deal with the issue of recommendation. Ratification of assistive tools gap. INEC must urgently provide the necessary assistive tools, including Braille, ballot, and magnifying glasses, to all polling units with registered voters with disability. They know exactly where these individuals are, and we expected them to deploy the scarce resources where they are instead of trying to send it everywhere. So there were registered voter units where we had number of persons with disability. I think we're making this call because ensuring that persons with disability can vote independently is crucial to upholding the rights of persons with disability to participate in the electoral process. Extension of voting time in the affected area, considering the adverse impact of the heavy downpour on voters. Voter turnout, especially persons with disability, we recommend that INEC should consider extending the voting time in polling units severely affected by the weather. Such an extension will ensure that all eligible voters, particularly those with disability, are not disenfranchised. The continuation of training and sensitization of election officials has come to bear, because we noticed that some of the people we interviewed and talked with needed that information, and many of them didn't have it. So I think going forward, we need to intensify on training and retraining of electoral officers. Let me speak to the issue of improving communication channel for voter support. INEC should enhance communication and support system to allow voters with disability to report any issue they encounter in real time. The availability of these channels will enable immediate corrective measure to be taken. In summary, TAF Africa maintains commitment to supporting the full inclusion of persons with disability in the Nigerian electoral processes. We will continue to observe the election as it progresses and provide updates on the experience of voters with disability. We urge INEC to uphold its commitment to inclusivity and ensure that all voters, not just persons, are given the opportunity to participate in today's election without barrier. Let me just add here about some of the advocacy that I've been doing, especially to the INEC headquarters, and is the need to provide as alternative large printed ballot papers, because obviously INEC cannot afford to procure magnifying glasses that will meet the needs of eligible voters with albinism. The alternative, which is cost effective, is for them to take some of the ballot papers that they are going to print and print a large format of those ballot papers. That way, they don't need to buy magnifying glasses. And so we hope and believe that the electoral process cannot be completed without the inclusivity component of it.